Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Last time I highlighted the power of encouragement to transform your life and the lives of others around you. This time I actually want to highlight another message that really kind of encouraged me. It was kind of unexpected, and this message encouraged me, and it encouraged me in a different way because it really made me reflect and think about just my old mindsets and my old experiences and years ago, and it just helped me appreciate my own level of growth and how I've changed. And the same is true for you. Perhaps someone will say something to you, you'll read a message, you'll read an old entry in your journal, whatever the case may be. It will really kind of stop you in your tracks and make you think about the past and how far you've come. Now, I received a message here on LinkedIn. One of my former Northwestern University classmates reached out to me. I'm connected to a ton of Northwestern folks on LinkedIn. And one of my former classmates reached out with an invitation to connect here this past week. And, of course, after we connected, it's, oh, how's it going? Yada, 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 the kind of catching up message. And so I received this follow-up message, and it said, hey, remember that wicked argument that happened in some group project we were in? I remember you and I were in the corner going, how do we get stuck with these knuckleheads? It totally cracked me up when I read that. And of course, my response to that was LOL. Because while I couldn't remember this exact experience that he was talking about, it was kind of surprising because my memory is just, I have a very, very strong memory. And so, but I couldn't remember this particular incident, but I could remember the overall kind of fact that, we had several group projects, particularly in the earlier quarters, where we were assigned to groups, folks. Later on in the program and subsequent quarters, I think after our spring quarter, we were allowed to choose our groups and who we wanted to work with. And it was absolutely wonderful in those scenarios. But, and I will always credit Northwestern University with just helping to change this aspect of my personality and my character and who I was as a person, because I, like everyone else, got to campus hyper competitive, achiever, but also used to making things happen on my own and achieving academically kind of on an individual level. Absolutely, we're all like that. And so, and what we kind of had to deal with in our first quarters at Northwestern is where we were assigned groups in terms of, whatever class you were signed up for, and then the professor would assign you to work in groups with these people. And particularly in the first quarter, you didn't have a clue who these people were. I mean, some people knew each other kind of informally, but most of them, we didn't have a clue who each other were. We didn't know the backgrounds. Is this person, are they lazy, or are they negative, or are they complainer? And eventually over time, those people kind of surface, as they all do in any type of group setting. But the lesson that I will always learn and just have learned and just so grateful for is that diversity of thought, diversity of background, diversity of experience, diversity of opinions is truly what makes groups strong. And it makes all situations strong, whether that be in the workplace, whether that be in the community, in any situation. And the lesson that they were, trying to impart to us, and they did a wonderful job, is that yes, we were all smart, we're all talented on an individual level. But the beauty of that is that even still, and this is true for each and every one of us, you've heard me say this countless times, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. And it's incredibly important, particularly in the value of group situations and group projects and teamwork and collaboration opportunities, is where I am weak, you can be strong, and vice versa. And so we can balance each other out, and we can absolutely produce a product that will be superior to anything we would have created on our own. And that was a very painful lesson that I had to learn, because as this classmate of mine alluded to, that arguments would break out. Sometimes people would storm out of the room and leave the groups, and then all of that, and come back next time, the next meeting. And so, and that's true anytime you've got more than one person. There's going to be conflict, there's going to be discord, there's going to be dissension, there's going to be disagreements. All right, and that's good, and that's healthy, and that's wonderful, as long as it's handled appropriately. But it cracked me up to think that, we were kind of shaking our heads in the corner like, how did we get stuck with these knuckleheads? And it truly made me smile, because I remember thinking that so many times, that, life is so much easier when you can just choose. But the reality is, and of course, I started my career out in corporate America, and the same is true in the workplace in general. Actually, in this country, small businesses employ the most number of people. And so, for the most part, unless you're a small business owner and an entrepreneur where you kind of have the control in terms of who you hire and who's going to be working with you and for you, that's kind of a different scenario. But for the most part, and for most people, The workplace means you have coworkers you didn't choose, you have bosses you didn't choose, or perhaps even the boss that hired you is transferred or leaves the business, leaves the company. And so this change is always constant. Change is going to happen. So it's so important that we learn the value of teamwork and collaboration. And the truth is, when we're secure in who we are not threatened by people's strengths. If someone else is strong where I may be weak, that doesn't threaten us. In fact, we say, hey, we're going to be an awesome team. We're going to be an awesome group because we've got just wonderful minds here that collectively going to produce a superior product. And folks, if I can learn that lesson, because I was super hyper competitive and loved to do my own thing, academically and in the classroom, that was just me. But Northwestern really changed my mind, changed my outlook, changed my heart on that matter. And I am so grateful. And now, as I mentioned back in 2007, that was the impetus. That was kind of the tipping point for me, where I decided I'm no longer going to compete with other people. I'm always going to set a high bar in any situation. I always set a high bar, but I compete with myself. And so on the outside looking in, you may think that I'm competitive, but that's because I'm competing with myself, and I'm always going to seek to be a person of excellence and to make excellence happen in anything that I'm involved in. But because I'm not competing with other people, that's freed me up, where I'm not competing with them. I'm free to love them. I'm free to affirm them. I'm free to inspire, encourage, empower, motivate them. And so when I look back and I even think about just one of the subtle lessons and how Northwestern prepared me in so many ways for the future, but also in this subtle way in terms of learning the value of teamwork and collaboration and recognizing our own humanity, our own limitations. And instead of kind of feeling bad about those and negative and shameful, to just recognize, hey, there's other people out there that can compensate. We all have various strengths and weaknesses. And I look back in hindsight and I'm so grateful to many of my classmates at Northwestern, and each and every group project, assigned group or not, we were able to choose our own groups, both types. I was always chosen as a presenter, always. And I look back and I'm so grateful for those classmates who always pointed their fingers at me, and my professors who always, after my presentations, would go up and give me a kind word or an encouraging word about my abilities. And so the level of encouragement that I experienced through and received through that experience alone, as I look back in hindsight and recognize that was a subtle form of encouragement. But the value of teamwork and collaboration is so important. So recognize, whether you be on a committee, whether you've got a project team at work, whether you're on a board of directors, whatever the case may be, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to learn, for you to grow, to help other people learn and grow, because we are truly at all times, in all scenarios, better together. So I thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.